Town in the County of Morris, authorizing settlement of the 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, and 2017 tax appeals entitled Lanny S. Cohen and Jeannie R. Cohen versus Town of Morristown, and 69 Morris Avenue LLC versus Town of Morristown. The tax assessment of Block 1101, Lot 37, known as 69 Morris Avenue in the Town of Morristown, Morris County, New Jersey. I would ask for a motion, please, to add it to this evening's agenda as Resolution 158, 2019.
I'll make a motion to add it as Resolution R-158-2019.
I'll second it.
Councilman Armington?
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis?
Yes.
Councilwoman Deeb?
Yes.
Councilman Elms?
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone?
Yes.
Councilman Silva?
Yes.
Council President Foster?
Yes.
Motion carries. We also have a resolution that was added at table this evening, resolution rejecting bids submitted in connection with the auction for the sale of 17 Orchard Street, 20 Orchard Street, and 22 Orchard Street. I would ask for a motion, please, to add this resolution to the regular agenda as Resolution R-163-19.
I'll make a motion to add this resolution as R-163-2019.
I'll second.
Councilman Armington?
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis?
Yes.
Councilwoman Deeb?
Yes.
Councilman Elms?
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone?
Yes.
Councilman Silva?
Yes.
Council President Foster?
Yes.
Motion carries. There are two items on the consent agenda this evening. Unless a member of council would like to pull one or both for separate consideration, I would ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Councilman Armington?
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis?
Yes.
Councilwoman Deeb?
Yes.
Councilman Elms?
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone?
Yes.
Councilman Silva?
Yes.
Council President Foster?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to open up the public hearing on tonight. If there are any members of the public wishing to be heard, please come before us, state your name, address for the record, and try to keep your comments to less than 5 minutes, please.
Come on. Whoever, okay.
Microphone.
Oh, sorry. I have autism. Bear with me. I'm Jacob Scordato. I live at 31 Hamilton Road in Morristown. I've been to the recycle center many times, and many times I go there, I see many functional, useful things being discarded. I think it should be taken away from the, what's it called? I think it'll be beneficial to a lot of people to scavenge for parts and equipment there.
Say that
And,
again, I'm sorry.
It'll be beneficial for people to scavenge for parts and equipment at the recycle center. The ultimate in recycling is reusing, and there's many reusable things like pots and pans, radios, Super 8 projectors, fish tanks, desks. It's best for the environment. It prevents the unneeded waste and the production of new equipment. It's best for the health of the children scavenging for gold and heavy metals. I believe if a liability waiver was signed, people should be allowed to scavenge. And if there's any concern about sensitive data being breached, I can volunteer to take the NSA Methods of Data Wiping class at CCM, County College of Morris, and I can get a certificate there. And I can use Bruce Schneider's algorithm for 7 overwrites, all ones, all zeros, and then a pseudo-random sequence 5 times over the data. That's all I have.
Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. I was about to close it. That's great.
My name is Nico Savoletto. I have
Nico?
Hi,
Nico?
Nico, Nico, Zavaleta. I live at 30 Crestwood Road. Today I'm going to be talking about a plot of land that I'd like to get addressed by the town. It's been left and abandoned, and I have a petition.
Yeah, I got it, I think. Oh, that's one.
Several layers of.
Gotcha.
From there, here, there.
Oh, thank you.
Can you go share that?
Yeah.
So I'll give a brief history of where this plot of land is, what I've done to try and address it, and why I went to kind of this level. This is a plot of land between Dogwood and Crestwood Road in Morristown. The original plans from the town on page 2 of that staple piece shows that it was supposed to be connected way back in the day, but the pitch was too much, so they left it alone. Over time, people used to go sledding down there. It used to be a place that kids could cut walking over to Thomas Jefferson as well. People would walk dogs, and years later, nothing's been addressed and it hasn't been maintained. I've gone and called the town, different neighbors have called the town. We've tried to bring it up to have it be more regularly maintained, and it's just been kind of brushed aside. This is a part of the town property. I'd like it, and so what the petition is that it gets basically mulched, get the dead stuff out, get the vines, the overhang. One of my neighbors on Dogwood, Chris, has a son who likes to play out there, and there's all these giant trees that are overhanging that are dead and not maintained. So this is an eyesore and a hazard. I've gone ahead and I've talked in 60-plus households, and homeowners have agreed as well in my neighborhood, nearly every single one of them. I don't have many double signatures of 2 people from a household. So that's what you're seeing there. And I personally witnessed all of these things being signed. I think it's a straightforward solution that we should just have this place mulched, cleaned up, addressed, and it's even possible to put like a pocket park, like put a bench there or something. Pretty straightforward, but I'd like it to be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, if there are no other members of the public wishing to be heard, I'd like to close the public, one more?
My name is Richard Ray. I live at 30 Knollwood Road in Morristown. I'm one of the signatories to that petition. What we would like, though, in addition, Mr. Zavaleta didn't mention, is we'd like a commitment of the time in which that's going to be done. The reason this was presented as a petition is to make the council acutely aware that we not only want something done, but we want something done in a defined time frame. So we'd like to have a response from the council about when this is going to be done. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, at this time, I'd like to close the public hearing.
My name's Will Needham. I live at 2 Tuxedo Place. To be perfectly honest, I think got a handful of topics. Just to touchly brief on how disappointed I am to find out that the playground at Elliott Street was black. The tennis court was blacked over with asphalt. We took a phenomenal asset in the town that leads to productivity, healthy living, and we just ripped the fence down and threw some asphalt on top of it. Where the planning of that was, despite us having a phenomenal council member that touts his planning expertise, how that got let go is extremely disappointing, and I really wonder if anybody in the community, especially that immediate area, was if it was brought at all to their attention. I can't even tell you how disappointing that is as somebody who uses that court and has used that court from even when there was a swimming pool there. In addition to that, the Third Ward is such a phenomenal place based on its diversity, and you can see that just simply for the major issues we have there. This past weekend at the football game, there was an announced possible shooting, which is unbelievably appalling, especially considering the fact that I know personally, and I'm sure, I hope the remainder of you do, and we're going to be educating the public, that our police have very little equipment to deal with such an issue. And so you not only would be putting everybody's lives at stake that would be in that vicinity, but you are asking these gentlemen in the back and the remainder that aren't here to walk into something and risk their lives for what, right? Because they're doing what they've taken an oath to do. And I think they need to be, I know that there possibly could be a new contract in place for a small bridge period, but this needs to be seriously addressed. These guys get up every day and risk their lives for us. And most definitely, I don't know how many of you would run in there and potentially protect a school full of kids, but I know these guys would. And I grew up and was raised with a whole slew of them. And so I take it personal that these guys don't have the proper equipment that they need to handle a situation like that. In addition, you have the third ward also houses two monster senior buildings, which I don't know however many of any of y'all have been in there, when the last time any of you guys were in. I know the mayor was there Saturday. It is, the state of those buildings is appalling. Thank God, as the mayor stated over the weekend, we have a new housing director, because without that, we really would have very little to show there. And they fall right into the middle of our neighborhoods, blocks from our homes. And so inside of there, what you have is a tremendous lack of security for the seniors. You have massive drug dealing, serious drugs. I mean, it's opioids, heroin, fentanyl, 100 feet from a school. So today, it was a big issue that we sent a town zoning officer to talk about electioneering possibilities on a billboard on the side of a property on Speedwell Avenue, owned and leased by Out Front, but yet 100 feet from a school, we allow fentanyl, heroin to be dealt readily. And I gotta tell you, I appreciate the chief here. For the last meeting, he at least said that they were gonna start making some random patrols, but that was only because the independent council candidate decided to step up and actually raise the issue. So, you know, there is more in the neighborhood and being a representative of the neighborhood than just a small area. And I gotta tell you, you know, whoever wins, you know, and however this town evolves forward, development, planning, with all these smaller neighborhood issues, the point of a challenge, at any rate, is so that you raise enough awareness that if you win, you get a phenomenal opportunity to be a part of the change and get something accomplished. The opposite is that you raise enough awareness so that the individual that does win has no choice but to handle those situations and deal with those issues. And so it behooves this group here, and I tell you that, to go there and look at this issue. If you truly do care, forget this development and all this other nonsense. I mean, you know, that can go on how it could be done right, it could be done wrong. It's a very difficult job, and it's relatively thankless, and I understand that. It's disappointing that, again, we still have absent seats here. I mean, I find that to be just unbelievably disrespectful to the residents and the handful that even showed up, you know, in the heavy rain. But I tell you right now, it is extremely important that these issues get addressed. And anyone can mock the difference, the candidates, the challenge. But this challenge is real, and it's not a personal attack. It is so that we make sure that these issues in our neighborhood get addressed. Because without it, I don't know what the hell y'all are doing here. I mean, to be perfectly frank, because these guys are the only ones looking out for us. And so instead of calling my representative, I'm going to call them, because I know they at least have my back. And they have everybody's back, small children in school. Think about that. Serious drugs, folks.
Time is up, sir.
Thank you,
Time's up.
Will.
Thank 5 minutes? Who has the timer? Anyone?
Yeah, we have a
5
time.
minutes. Yeah,
Thank
good.
you for
Thank you.
bringing the issues and concerns to our attention. We always do. At this time, I'd like to close the public hearing if we have no other comments from the public.
Hey, Stefan.
Did I hear a comment
No,
from?
it's closed. Go.
Well, are you going to come before us, or are you going to? Yeah, I'll come before. Okay.
Too nice.
You want to address Elliot, or do you want to address?
Are you sure? Okay. Closing the public portion. At this time, I'd like to ask any council members if they'd like to respond to
I'll
comments from
actually
public hearing.
start with Jacob. Jacob, you did a very nice job tonight. Thank you very much. Jacob, I did go to the Reclamation Center on Saturday morning because we had talked. Okay? Kirby said no problem. Okay, just so you know. I talked with Kirby about your issue, and he said no problem, come in. I have to be honest with you, I was probably the one that I raised the issue with Kirby. I said, well, what about computer equipment and people who leave chips in it? Because you always have the fear that people are going to leave chips in there, and you've got a lot of information on chips, and people will harvest those chips. But thank you very much for your suggestion, all right? And I think the mayor and Jillian, we can talk a little bit further maybe about that, what we could do.
I'll give you
And
an
there
idea.
may
I'll
be
give you
a
an idea when it
liability,
hits
but-
my time.
But it's great. There's actually, Kirby was actually pointing out that he has another person that's an artist that actually goes and gets things and actually makes art out of it. So I don't think anybody in town or anybody on this council disagrees with your whole position on the need to recycle as much as we can and put things to use. But thank you. You did a real nice job, and it's a great issue that you brought up. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Councilwoman Deeb?
Yeah, thank you to Richard and Nico for coming out tonight and bringing this to our attention. It's always interesting to hear about improvements that the town can do. I personally live in Windmill Pond, and there's a lot of wooded areas that are in great disrepair. Trees fall, trees get chopped down. The easiest thing to do is to put the tree leftovers there and keep it naturally wooded, which is what this buffer is. I'm aware of this very steep slope buffer between Dogwood and Crestwood. We do have a process in town for how parks get developed, how pocket parks might get developed and that sort of thing, which I think you mentioned. We have an environmental commission in town that gets heavily involved in this process. The mayor's office gets heavily involved as the administrator of the fiduciary financial resources that we adopt. So, as far as a time frame and giving you a time frame, I don't think that's something that I can do. I would have to defer to the administration to see that they could look at this themselves. They may or may not be familiar with it. I think the Environmental Commission should get involved as well. But certainly, it's something that we would look into, and thank you for bringing it to our attention. I would definitely like to hear from the administration and ask them to see if they could also give us their input as to what they would recommend as well. Thank you.
Any other comments from council members?
No, I will reserve my comments.
Reserve your comments. All right, and I'd just like to state for the record that we do not have any absent council members this evening. Just because you see empty chairs does not mean that we don't have our other two council colleagues, Councilwoman Hillary Davis and Councilman Michael Elms, who are both under the weather but took the time to call in for our meeting on this evening. So I thank you both for calling in and participating. Any
Thank you very
comments?
much, Council President.
Any comments from administration on public hearing?
Sure, a few. One, it's the first time hearing from any resident in that area about this property, so you can pick up the phone and also call if you have an issue. Second thing is, we're going to research that property. We may have a right-of-way, it may not be all of our property, so we want to make sure that it's not, part of that's not privately owned. So we're going to do the research on the property, look at the property, look at what we can do and what we can't do, and we'll get back to you on that property. It's, if it's open space, it'll be on our open space records, and if it's privately owned, we'll get to, because there are areas over there, we want to make sure we're talking about the same area. There's a few areas over in that area, especially by Kings, and when you start going behind Kings, that's not the area.
No, and in
I
fact,
know where the area is.
Glad you
It's-
mentioned that, because when I saw this, I thought it was King's.
It's not.
But it's
I know
not.
where, it's at the dead end. We may have a right-of-way there, but we may not own the property. So let us do the research. Yeah, we're gonna let the business administrator do the research on the property, and then we'll take a look at it. What we can do and what we can't do, obviously, we're not gonna take down 100 trees to make a park. It's not gonna happen. So let us look at it. Like I said, this is the first time hearing about it. Thanks for doing the work. But next time, you can just pick up the phone, too, and make a phone call. A couple of things. Julian, do you want to just briefly touch on Elliott? So everybody knows what's going on Elliott Street?
Sure. The town is in the midst of a capital improvement project with several basketball courts and tennis courts in town. Elliott Street basketball and tennis courts are both being resurfaced with new surfaces, new color coating, new fencing, new backboards for the basketball courts. So they'll be like brand new as soon as they're done at the end of this construction season. So they look like they're blacked over because they're actively under construction.
So when you see things, what you don't hear is the work that goes in from council members in advocating for their wards, and advocating like Mr. Iannicone, Mr. Armington, Council at-large President, Mr. Silva, and Allison, when they're advocating for things in the budget for their wards. If you look at the budget and where we're spending capital, you would have seen that this is scheduled to be done this year, to be redone, because we looked at all our parks. We constantly look at all our open space. We constantly look at our parks, and we constantly improve our parks. So although you came up here, Mr. Needham, and basically said that that's being not attended to, it's not true. So it's in the capital budget, it is scheduled to be done, and, you know, so the public knows that Elliott Street tennis courts and basketball courts and the fencing is all being done new. So the Third Ward people should know that.
They do.
And now they will, and they do. So I just wanted to set the record straight on that issue. As far as the housing, everybody knows how I feel about the former housing director and what happened in our federal housing for a number of years under a certain director. It was not attended to. The administration did what it could to be involved in federal housing, but I was pretty much put in my place that it's not my place to be in federal housing. We have no jurisdiction. And it was made very clear to me by HUD that I have to make sure I stay in my place. However, the good news is this Housing Commission and the people who were involved in it worked to get one of the best housing directors they could have possibly ever landed with Keith Kennard. He is known all over the East Coast, from Pittsburgh to D.C. to Newark Housing under Cory Booker. He's one of the best. It's amazed to me that we actually got him. And what I've seen just in the past 9 months of what he's been able to accomplish with that board is residents are being attended to. I know that there's an issue. The police are aware of the issue at the housing, and they're much more aware than you possibly know when it comes to who's doing what and where in any housing buildings, especially with all the cameras now in place. I would like to take our public safety director, if you could come up here for 2 minutes, and our chief of police, and just address the comments about the high school. I know it was in the paper, Morristown Green had it, a few other. So you could just, so the public is aware of what took place, what action was taken by MPD, and so they can put the public at ease.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor, members of council. Michael Corker, Director of Public Safety. With me is Chief Darnell Richardson. Over the weekend, we had some threats, alleged hearsay threats made via Snapchat. Nothing was substantiated. However, as a precaution, we took steps to increase patrols around the high school during the homecoming dance to ensure nothing had happened. We were in constant communication with the school superintendent. He thanked us for all the assistance that we rendered. Any threat to the schools, obviously, we take very seriously. All of our resources were brought to bear in and around the high school, and the rumors were unsubstantiated, so it was all hearsay information. Nevertheless, we took it serious, and we treat all threats against the high school seriously.
Chief, anything to add?
That's it. We received a complaint about 8:36 on Saturday evening. Lieutenant Muller was shift commander. I'm sorry. He responded over there with additional officers from Morristown, Morris Township, and the Park Police. The threat was never confirmed. It was, like the director said, hearsay. A third party, if not fourth party. The kid said he heard it at the football game. We responded appropriately, stayed until the dance was over, and there was no incident. That's it.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Mr. Cochran. Now I want to get down to my business. I don't think I missed anything else to address to. I have a proclamation, which I'm very excited to do. If Mr. Posey could come up. I promise I won't cry. I won't cry. For those who don't know, Leonard Posey, school board for many, many years here in Morristown, also school board president, is now going south. But I have a few little things to just say about Leonard. When I first got involved in Morristown, I got involved in working for the community in volunteering, the zoning board, things of those natures, meeting a lot of people in town. And some people decided, hey, you know, maybe you might want to run for council one day. So they said, you might want to go talk to Leonard. And we did. We met at Provisi's, had dinner, and talked a lot. He gave me a lot of advice a lot of insight into what it takes and what it's going to, what it's going to be like, because he was very well connected in the town, lived here, over on Atno, if I'm not mistaken. And that started the journey of me talking to people who gave me advice and a path to where I am today. So he played a bigger role than he realized way back then, and it was a long time ago. It was in the 90s. However, so I got to bring it up. So I think Leonard was the school board president at the time, and my son decided not to pursue his education at Seton Hall and really wanted to go to Morristown High School. He really lives and breathes Morristown. And I said, okay, but there's one condition in Morristown, that you don't ever cut school. Not one day. That's my deal. So I think the Yankees were in the ACLS or the World Series, and a friend of mine who works in New York was on the train, and he saw my son. My son didn't see him. So he called me up, he goes, I just want to let you know, my son was a freshman, he's on the train, looks like with a bunch of seniors. I think they're all going to the playoff for the World Series. I think it was a World Series game. How he got a ticket, I have no idea. So I'm like, well, that's interesting. So when he came home that day, I came home from work, we were sitting at the dinner table, and I said, you got something to tell me? And kept the pressure on until he fessed up. Now, if my friend didn't see him, I never would have known he wasn't in school. So I called Leonard up when I found out he didn't go to school that day, and I didn't get a call from the high school that he wasn't there as a freshman, because I think they do that if you're not in class. So that little thing happened. That was the beginning of my relationship with the Morris School District. Was my son went to a World Series game and missed one class. But I can tell you the flip side to that is I guess I couldn't get too mad because he went to a World Series game. But he graduated from that school. He graduated with his degree from Montclair State University. He has a business in town. He loves Morristown. He is a product of Morristown High School, and it's because of the leadership of Leonard Posey and many others is the reason why this school is one of the top schools around. And for that, I am truly grateful to call him my friend.
Thank you.
So I'm going to read this into the record. Whereas Leonard D. Posey served the Morris School District Board for 17 years, from 1997 to 2006, and then again from 2011 to 2019. Leonard was the Chief Global Diversity and Inclusion Officer of Lee Heck Harrison, and was responsible for the design and implementation of global diversity and inclusion strategy. Leonard also served as the global practice lead for inclusion leadership practice, where he was responsible for the creation and host of solutions pertaining to diversity and inclusion. Leonard is highly skilled and proven business leader with over 30 years with progressive human resources, operations, and sales management experience. Leonard has provided consulting expertise on a wide range of subjects, including inclusive leadership, gender equity, unconsciousness bias, restructuring, mergers, acquisitions, and cultural change. And Leonard holds a bachelor's degree in business administration from Eastern Michigan University and is a certified diversity practitioner. Leonard has worked for several organizations holding managerial and senior executive roles in higher education, professional, and financial services. Whereas Leonard has mentored community youth and colleagues and has been the recipient of several awards, including Lee Heck Harrison Presidential Award for Exceptional Performance and the National Association of African American and Human Resources Trailblazer Award. Now therefore, I, Timothy P. Daugherty, Mayor of the Town of Morristown, do hereby proclaim October 22nd, 2019 as Leonard D. Posey Day in the Town of Morristown, and extend special appreciation and thanks to Leonard for his professionalism, dedication, and service to this community. The sincerest of congratulations are extended on his retirement, and on behalf of the residents of Morristown, we wish him the best of luck and continued success in all his future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I say a few
Yeah,
words? Thank you.
absolutely.
Tim just said, be here. I wasn't sure what was going on, and Stefan said, you're going to get a proclamation, but I just want to thank you very much, Tim, for the recognition. I didn't expect this. I have lived in this community for maybe 26 years on November 1st. Half of it was in the town, and the other half has been in the township, but I've always considered myself a Morristonian. This has been a great place for me when I moved here from Michigan in '93. A great education for my kids. I've got a chance to meet many of you and become friends. Had the pleasure for at least almost a year of serving with Mr. Pawar on the Board of Education. He's been an outstanding addition to our school board. And I will miss Morristown. I'll miss many of you, those of you that I know. And I'll miss you, Tim. I met Tim when he was young in his career here, and always felt as a school board member that there was a connection and there was some value for people in the school board to know people in the governing bodies. Some of my colleagues didn't necessarily agree with that, but this has been a great town. You, under your leadership, has done an outstanding job of keeping taxes low and with the development. And just want to thank those members of the council that I know for all the hard work that you do. It's not easy being an elected official, and it's not easy doing the work that you do. So thank you so much for the recognition. I appreciate it. I do want to give a shout out, since the police were recognized for the Morristown Police Department and the Fire Department. 5 years ago, my daughter was involved in a very serious accident on Sussex Road, which left her a quadriplegic. And if it wasn't for the assistance of the fire department here in this town and the police department coming to the rescue and cutting our other car, we would not have her here with us today. So shout out to the men and women of the police department and fire department. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, and Leonard, I'd like to add that you received your proclamation and your day on Nakaya's birthday, my oldest daughter, and that's how I met you at Morristown High School when I used to go to her basketball games. And I think she got me a business card when I was looking for a job, and that was what started our connection.
And you're going south, correct?
I'm going to Miami, Florida.
So, yeah.
I have 7 grandkids, and
So can you leave your address so we know where we're going when we get down there?
So my wife and I miss those. My son who went to the Moore schools, they're already there, and I'm the only one that's still here, so.
Well, good luck. Happy trails.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your service and dedication to Morristown and Township.
Okay, let me finish up.
Yes, please.
Okay, on the 12th, Morristown had its Festival of Books, a huge success. It was, the town was buzzing all day. Friday night was well attended for the keynote, and it was, my hat's off to the women that put that together. It is an amazing festival, and it's nationally known now, and it's incredible. October 13th, Bethel AME anniversary event and the Stella Walker Scholarship Brunch. I'm not going to put you on the hook. Does everybody know who Stella Walker was?
Estelle Walker.
Estelle. Well, it says Stella here. No? Do you want to educate them?
Estelle Walker was the first African-American woman to graduate from Morristown High School.
There you go.
Went on to become a teacher, I believe, in Atlantic City, came back and worked a number of years at the neighborhood house. She graduated in the early part of the century.
Yep. About that, huh?
Bethel AME Church.
Yeah, and they gave some scholarships out to some young people, so it was a great event. I also want to recognize Officer Beverly Downey and Chief Darnell Richardson. They were also honored as community pioneers at that event, and I don't know if Officer Downey's here, but I know our chief is here. Congratulations again, Chief. That was a great event. There was a grand reopening of South Street Yoga on 40 Mill Street, which was really well attended, and they've really done an amazing job. If you get a chance, go over to 40 Mills and just tour the building, what they've done to it. It's outstanding for the reuse of that building. On October 21st, Taqueria had their grand opening and ribbon cutting at 52 South Street, so they're up and running. Taqueria, that's next to Pravisi's. There was actually lines to get into that eatery all weekend.
Friday, October 25th, 10 a.m., Homeless Solutions ribbon cutting will be at 88 Martin Luther King. That's the 25th at 10 a.m. On the 27th of October, 9 a.m. to noon, Halloween half a marathon and relay by superheroes, which I guess is your stuff. That event, it goes from Maple Avenue and finishes on Oak Street. Staging area is the Verizon lot. But what's really cool on Sunday night, the 27th, for those who can attend, it's a really cool event, is the pumpkin illumination via the Morris Arts at the Vale Mansion. They line up all along the reflecting pond, and it's really cool. It's a lot of people come out. It's a great town event. On October 31st, you will have the town hall from 3 to 5. We will have out in front the mayor's trick or treat in front of town hall. Guys can get dressed up and come, right, Bob? You don't look like you're going to get dressed up and come. Anyway, that's 3 to 5, and then the downtown is also trick or treat all downtown by the Morristown Partnership. I believe Jen is in the back, right? 3 to 5. 3 to 5, and it is well attended by kids from all over the county. Come to downtown Morristown to fill up their bags full of candy. It's a fun event. Usually the business administrator and I walk all over town and to see what's going on. It's fun, and the police department is out there keeping everybody safe, and we want to thank them for that too. Friday, November.
You wearing your mayor's costume, or are you dressing up?
One day I saw former Mayor Delaney running down the street as the Riddler or something. He was dressed in the Riddler outfit. But no, I think I'll just go as Tim. Friday, November 1st, 6:30, NAACP 88th Annual Freedom Fund Gala at the Hilton in Parsippany. Contact information will be MC NAACP 2092 treasurer@gmail.com. So for ticket information, we'll have that posted on the website, and Facebook, so you can see where you can go for get your tickets. 6:30 p.m., the Morris County Organization for Hispanic Affairs, the same day, November 1st, will have their gala at the Madison Hotel, and we'll also put that up on the website, and they can get your tickets through HispanicFairs.net. So we'll have all that information up there. So there's 2 events same night, going one or the other. I don't think I'm going to make both, but you can go to one or the other. On the 2nd of November, 8:30 a.m. to noon, Markin Street Mission will give their Coke giveaway. If you've ever seen the Coke giveaway up on the green, it's the center of the Morristown Green. A lot of people come for winter coats. People donate great coats to our community for the needy. And it's a great event that the Market Street Mission puts on. That's November 2nd, 8:30 to noon in the morning. Center of the Green. November 5th, that's Tuesday, that's Election Day. Please don't forget to go out and vote. You can also vote now if you so choose to. You can vote early. I didn't say often, you say early. You can vote up at the county before Election Day. It's open now. But Election Day is November 5th, and the polls open at 6 a.m. Okay? And then Monday is November 11th. That's 11 a.m. Veteran Day services at the Green. Okay, so those who can attend, it's well attended. That's November 11th. Other than that, Council President, I do not have any more information. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Moving on to council liaison reports.
Parking Authority met last Tuesday. They will be here before the end of the year to present the plans for Lot 10. Well, no, I've said that before. When they get here, let's believe it. Okay, but they will be hopefully here before the end of the year. We look forward, and they did a good job, and I think that's something we're all anxious to see. Free holiday parking starting on 12/1, goes through 12/30, and also free parking, I guess, for first night, something that we're going to be talking about tonight. Parking Authority is always very, very cooperative with our events in town. We're very thankful. They're in the process of upgrading their garages with new LED, energy-efficient lighting. They're in the process of doing that. And one of the topics that keeps on coming up at these meetings, and it's kind of a clumsy topic because you really don't know where it should land, is that conversation about alternative transportation in Morristown. This goes back to one of the things I know the partnership and Mike was looking at with Jen, with reference to do you do a trolley, do you do something where you can move people around town more easily? You know, Parking Authority brings it up, of course, because they have parking garages and how to get people from the garages to events in town. One of the things they cite a lot is the fact that people who even go to Mayo Center don't seem to want to walk those few blocks through town from either the Dalton garage or the Bank Street garage. So there's this conversation's going on. You know, it might behoove us just, you know, in a while to maybe put a group together just to take a look at it, to have that discussion. You know, not just with the Parking Authority, but I know Jen's done some work on it in the past. You know, how do you finance it? How can it operate? But it may be something in the future, Council President, we may want to appoint a committee to take a look at.
Sure.
The planning board is meeting on Thursday at 7 o'clock at Town Hall to evaluate the master plan consistency of the Airbnb and also the bed and breakfast zoning and license ordinances.
Environmental?
Yeah, we usually meet the first Tuesday of every month, but, so that's with election, I don't know how that's going to work,
Yeah,
but.
probably won't.
Yeah, so it'll probably be extended after. And I will definitely bring up this issue at the next Environmental Commission meeting for the gentleman that brought this issue to my attention tonight, this evening, for the first time. So, next time, just give me a call. I've been around for a while. I never received a call from you.
All right, no, I'm sorry, the public hearing is closed. She's just making a reference that you can contact her via email, so you can do that moving forward. I'm sure she'll be able to address you.
But just to clarify, since you were talking, I will bring this up to the Environmental Commission at the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything from the partnership? The public hearing is closed. Anything from the partnership? And I believe the Housing Authority meeting is forthcoming. Councilwoman Davis.
The partnership meeting was last Wednesday, and I was unable to attend, unfortunately.
Okay. All right, moving on to regular business.
Okay. One second, please. Okay. We have two ordinances for introduction this evening. Ordinance O-46-2019, an ordinance amending and supplementing the code of the town of Morristown, Chapter 7, Traffic, Section 7-40.2, handicap parking on streets for private residences, to amend the placard number assigned to a dedicated parking space for a resident of 9 Cobb Place. May I have a motion to introduce?
I'll make a motion to introduce
I'll second
ordinance
it.
number
Sorry,
O-46-2019.
I'll second it.
Any comments from council members? Seeing none, call the question, please.
Councilman Armington?
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis?
Yes.
Councilwoman Deeb?
Yes.
Councilman Elms?
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone?
Yes.
Councilman Silva?
Yes.
Council President Foster?
Yes.
O-46-2019 has been properly introduced by title and will be considered further after a public hearing to be held on November 12th. Ordinance number O-47-2019, ordinance providing for certain capital improvements at the Morristown Municipal Airport by the town of Morristown in the county of Morris, state of New Jersey, and appropriating $209,387.41 therefore to finance part of the cost thereof.
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance number O-47-2019.
I'll second it.
Any comments or questions from council members? Seeing none, call the question, please.
On the adoption of on the introduction of 47-2019, Councilman Armington?
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis?
Yes.
Councilwoman Deeb?
Yes.
Councilman Elms?
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone?
Yes.
Councilman Silva?
Yes.
And Council President Foster?
Yes.
Ordinance O-47-2019 has been introduced properly by title and will be considered further after a public hearing to be held on November 12th. We have one ordinance for public hearing and adoption this evening, ordinance number O-45-2019, an ordinance amending and supplementing the code of the town of Morristown, Chapter 7, Traffic.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number O-45-2019.
I'll second it.
At this time, I'd like to open up the public hearing on this ordinance. Are there any members of the public wishing to be heard? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any questions or comments from council members? Seeing none, call the question, please.
On the adoption of O-45-2019, Councilman Armington.
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis.
Yes.
Councilwoman Deeb.
Yes.
Councilman Elms.
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone.
Yes.
Councilman Silva. And
Yes.
Council President Foster.
Yes.
Ordinance O-45-2019 is adopted. We have 6 resolutions on the agenda this evening. Unless a member of council would like to pull one or several for separate consideration, I would ask for a motion to adopt them en masse.
Can I pull 161, please?
61.
Okay, I would ask for a motion for the adoption of Resolution 158 through 160 and 162-2019.
And 63.
And 63.
I'm sorry, and 63.
I'll make a motion to approve those resolutions en masse.
I'll second it.
Councilman Armington?
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis?
Yes.
Councilwoman Deeb?
Yes.
Councilman Elms?
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone?
Yes.
Councilman Silva?
Yes.
Council President Foster.
Yes.
Resolution R-161-2019, resolution approving the best practices inventory and authorizing the town clerk to complete the best practices public meeting certification form. Can I have a motion to adopt?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number R-161-2019.
I'll second.
Comments from Councilman Iannacone?
Nice job. I mean, we shouldn't just brush over this kind of resolution, and I think you should make some comments about it. No, because it's important, because it's actually what qualifies us to get 100% of our state aid.
That's
right.
By getting the score, and also, basically, it's a self-assessment, which is then verified by the state as to how your operations of your municipal government. And
Best practice.
you got a score here of a 42.5 out of possible score of 45, which is an excellent score.
Thank you.
And, I think we should point that out, but
I just want to give an input to congratulations to administration. That reflects the great work that you're doing. And like in every other work that we do, always room for improvement, but we're doing great. No, that's, you know me now.
I do, that's why I'm
Okay.
chuckling.
Always looking for improvement,
Oh,
never
yes.
status quo.
But
Be glad
great,
you're not
I was
bringing home your
pleased
test
to,
score
I
to
went
him.
thorough to the whole report, and I was smiling.
Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate
just
that.
have just one input on the cybersecurity.
Yes.
Very important to expedite that, because all
Yes.
the things that are happening, and sometimes they take the data from towns, cities, and
Hold it hostage.
yes.
We've been spending a lot of time on cybersecurity this year, and that section's actually new for this year, for the best practices checklist. I met with our IT consultant as recently as 2 weeks ago, right before I went on vacation, to discuss how we can take our cybersecurity initiatives to the next level. So we absolutely will be working on that. And don't be surprised to see something in the next budget for investment in cybersecurity.
Of course, yeah.
All right, call a question, please.
On the adoption of Resolution 161-2019, Councilman Armington?
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis?
Yes.
Councilwoman Deeb?
Yes.
Councilman Elms?
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone?
yes.
Councilman Silva?
Yes.
Council President Foster.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. At this time, I see no items for unfinished or old business. Are you?
Just a couple things. At the last meeting, we had brought up a couple things that I wanted to just get a report back on. The first was the hydro raking bid was rejected, and you were going to reframe that, and I didn't see it on the agenda tonight, so could you just give us a status of that?
Due next week. It has been out for rebid. They're due on Friday.
Oh, great.
So hopefully, we will be able to select a vendor and have them on for the next agenda.
Because that was in the mayor's budget in April, and it was highlighted then as a plan of the administration and the town for the year, so.
Yes.
So, okay, so it's.
We're anxious to get that done.
So they're coming back Friday, you said?
Yes.
Okay. And the second thing was, thank you, Veej, for calling me today about the my attendance questions on attendance via calling in versus being physically present. I think it is an issue. I had sent you an email with some questions. I think you did address my questions, but as always, when you get information, it raises more questions. So I think it might be something that the council in the next session might want to consider a committee just to look at the issue of attendance via calling versus not. I know when I spoke with Veej this afternoon, he talked about the sick policy. Obviously, if someone's very ill or has an excuse there, it's obvious they can't make the meeting. That's definitely clear, or if there's a death in the family. But I think the issue of calling in poses a lot of questions. One is how often and how regular and how frequent, but also, do we have the telecommunications capacity for someone to be actually as present as they would be if they were physically sitting on the dais? And so, we talked a little bit about the cost implications of getting a more sophisticated speakerphone technology, or when we have presentations, can we actually project those through the computer so that we could have, there could be a web meeting? Because I know when I've called in and I haven't been physically present on the dais, it's not as easy to participate, and it's not as easy to hear everything, and you don't really see the people sitting. So I think it might behoove us in the next session. I'd certainly be willing to look into it if I'm honored for another term to this issue, because it has come up before, but, and I know I talked with Council President Armington about this offline. I'd love to see, us explore this a little bit further if possible through a committee. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just if we could bring up one other issue of maybe a future topic for a subcommittee also. We've talked about it a little bit. I know we have a community channel, and we don't utilize it a lot on cable. But, in the past, I've mentioned that, a lot of high schools have assumed the responsibility of their community channels, and they do more programming on it. I mean, you look at the Mendham station, you look at the Chatham station, they actually have, and it's amazing, like what Leonard pointed out today, it's amazing what our own high school produces in terms of short films and things like that, and events and concerts. If we could pull a group together, maybe with the schools and maybe with us and others, to see what we could do to invigorate that public access channel. It is, I think, a tremendous tool for transparency. It's a tremendous tool for communication, and I'm talking about communicating with the public. It's just something I think, when we're looking down, the road of the topics we could maybe explore. Maybe this is the topic we explore. And I do realize there's a tremendous expense associated with some of this technology to do web-based meetings and what have you. And again, I know the budget constraints we have, and I appreciate that. But this might be something that if we do it in partnership with others, we might be able to accomplish it. And it may actually turn out to be a lot of fun.
Thank you, council members, for your comments.
But I just want to add one more thing. I'm not encouraging attending by phone. I mean, that's not really my position. I think it's better to attend in person, but I think to have the accommodation so that it is clearer, better, for all involved is ideal if we are going to go in that direction. Should it be the direction of the council and that's how they want to go? Obviously, a delayed system that is, 10 years out is not the most current technology, but there is a cost involved. But yeah, so I do advocate for personally being physically present, but if there are issues where it has to be by phone, I think we have to make sure that we have the best or a decent system.
I would like to suggest you do the holograms.
Only for you, Mayor.
Then you can see them sitting there. You ever see those, the holograms?
Yes.
Sorry, Chuck.
Michael Jackson's hologram.
On that note,
Yes. I know, they did it at The Rock. It's amazing.
I'd like to
take
call
another.
for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And seconds?
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Madam President.